He was awakened by a loud bang, then pieces of shrapnel hit and tore up his tent. He quickly got up and strapped his gear on just in case it was an ambush. He opened the tent door, and the area was filled with smoke. He could hear the soldiers yelling in confusion, wondering what was going on. Trayton heard another click hit the ground, and he could see very faintly a round shape. In a split second, he knew what it was and jumped out of his tent. Then the explosion happened, and all the soldiers went to the ground. After the explosion, it was more clouded than ever. They couldn't see it all. Trayton figured whoever was ambushing them was trying to drag them out into the open. He knew he couldn't stay, and he didn't want to go out there. He then wondered where Jacob and Sam were. He checked by their tents and couldn't find them. Then Trayton found himself outside, away from the smoke. Right as he stepped outside, before he could get cover, he was shot. It went into his elbow, but it didn't come out through. He fell to the ground and was in a lot of pain. He could feel the bullet jabbed in his elbow. Trayton looked down and he could see the blood squirting out. He quickly grabbed a cloth and wrapped it as tightly as possible. He huddled behind a few trees. He could hear the multiple bullets hitting and tearing through the trees. He feared he needed to leave now, or he was going to die for sure. But then he saw Sam on the ground. He appeared to be dead, but Trayton decided to take a chance and get him out of the bullet fire. Trayton made a run for it. He went to grab Sam and pick him up, but as he lifted, his elbow jolted with pain. He tried so hard to lift Sam, but couldn't. Then another bullet struck Trayton, jabbing him into the hand, and this time it went through. Trayton knew he had to risk his own life to save his friends, or find cover to save his own life. With one big jolt, he lifted Sam and took him down the hill as fast as he could. He reached behind the tank to take cover and to give Sam cover as well. "Do you know where Jacob is?" asked Trayton. "Last time I saw him, he split off from me," replied Sam faintly. Trayton looked up and, despite his injuries, took off again to find Jacob. It didn't take long for him to find Jacob. Jacob was on the ground, trying his best to fight off the enemy, but Trayton could see Jacob had been hit too. Trayton picked up Jacob and carried him off, but halfway through he was struck in the helmet. He flew to the ground and landed on his other arm and broke it. He was now thinking that there was no use. He should sit here and die, but as much as he wanted to, he needed to save Jacob, and so he did. He pulled and dragged him across the battlefield. It was the best he could do. As soon as he reached the back of the tank, the other soldier who survived out of the group called him back up. Trayton sat there, looking over at Sam and Jacob, happy that they were alive. Soon the backup came. Before Trayton knew it, the enemy was almost taken out, but then he was struck in the head. It felt like it had, and the last time he was struck in the head, the soldiers rushed over to Trayton. His vision started to blur, and he felt exhaustion, pain, and near death. He looked over at his friends and smiled at what he accomplished. Then things slowly became black.